everyone, do you fancy a day trip to Dublin? Of course you do. I might even buy you lunch. We'll be flying on Ryanair. Ryanair offers some great prices to locations across Europe, but they will always try and encourage you to buy advanced seat selection, maybe for £5, £7, £15, just so you don't end up with that dreaded middle seat. Now, between Glasgow and Dublin, can you imagine the discomfort and trauma of being there for 55 minutes between two strangers? That's why they always try and encourage you to buy advanced seat selection. I recently flew between Dublin and Edinburgh, and I didn't bother about the advanced seat selection because it was a late flight. I just thought, I'll be a cheapskate, I'll sit in the middle. Imagine my surprise when I got a middle seat, but the seat to the left and the seat to the right, the aisle and the window seats, were both empty. Now, this flight had a capacity of maybe 90–95%. It was almost full, but these seats were still empty, which made me realise that if you're a cheapskate and you don't buy advanced seat selection, just out of spite, you will get that middle seat if there's one available. So I thought, is there any way you can force Ryanair to give you a window or an aisle seat without paying for it? This is what I call Ryanair roulette. How do you change the odds to your own advantage? Now, there are web pages dedicated to this along with mathematical formula, but we don't need them. So here's the maths bit. Your typical Ryanair flight is a Boeing 737-800 with 189 seats. Now, here's an interesting factoid. There are 33 rows in this aircraft, but there are only 32 rows. And that's because there is no row 13. There are 39 seats, which I call premium seats, extra legroom seats. It's unlikely you'd ever get one of these, even in an overbooking situation. If you don't buy advanced seat selection, you have to wait until 24 hours before departure to check in. Now, in the past, I've waited until 24 hours beforehand and I've checked in because I'm all excited. I'm going to be travelling on a big airplane, and guess what? I always get the middle seat. So this time we're going to try a little experiment. Instead of checking in 24 hours in advance, I'm going to check in at the very last moment. In theory, everyone else hopefully would have checked in before me and grabbed those middle seats, leaving just aisle and window seats. It's worth a try. Now, I have to check in a minimum of 4 hours before departure. Our flight leaves at 2 p.m, which means at 10 o'clock I must have checked in, otherwise I'm going to appear as a no-show. So at about 9:30 tomorrow morning, I'm going to be checking in, so I'll see you then. Good morning, everybody. It is 10 minutes to 10, a little later than I thought it was going to be, but I'm going to check in online now for the Glasgow-Dublin flight today. Last night before I went to bed, I checked and there were still 7 middle seats available, so fingers crossed they've filled overnight and I should get a window or an aisle seat. Wish me luck. Right, we'll start the check-in process. That's definitely me. I don't want insurance, no thank you. And I'm checking in for the outbound flight only. Yes, I agree to all that, blah blah blah. Continue. Where do I want to sit? Well, let's go for the Ryanair roulette, random seat selection. Yes, I want random seat selection, definitely, yes. Okay, do I have a large bag? No, just a small bag. £20 for a large bag, guys. Jeez, oh, okay. Do I want fast track at Glasgow Airport? Definitely not. Anything else? Anything else I'd like to book in advance? Parking, oxygen, a bus, anything? No, no, no thanks. And I can now print or download my boarding pass. Let's print it and see what we've got. Okay guys, we're here at Glasgow Airport and here's my boarding pass. 25 Foxtrot on the starboard side of the aircraft. Not only did I avoid the dreaded middle seat, but I got a window seat free of charge. I'm glad that actually worked, otherwise this could have been the world's shortest YouTube video. Right, let's get inside through security and I'll see you when we're airside. Well guys, we've got some time to kill here at Glasgow Airport, so I'm going to tell you some stories about Ryanair. I'm sure none of these things will happen to us on our flight to Dublin today. In September 2019, around 30 Ryanair passengers were left furious after allegedly being locked in a stairwell at Edinburgh Airport while their flight to Krakow left without them. It's claimed that the stranded passengers only found out they had been left behind when someone checked the flight's status online. A spokesperson for Ryanair said, "We apologise to our customers for this incident. This is a matter for Edinburgh Airport's handling agent, Swissport." But wait, there's more. In April 2022, Ryanair left 14 passengers behind at Palma Airport in Mallorca who were bound for Malaga. The passengers had checked in for their flight and were at the gate. The first shuttle bus to the aircraft was full, but no bus came for the remaining passengers and the flight left without them. Ryanair offered the passengers a later flight and a voucher worth €4, or around £3.35, to spend at the airport's shops. €4 does not go very far at an airport. And finally, April 2022 again, two travellers were left stranded as they boarded what they thought was a Marseille-Stansted flight, but ended up in Madrid 800 miles in the wrong direction. Ryanair said these passengers failed to follow the allocated route to the aircraft departing for London Stansted, crossed an unauthorised area, and wrongly boarded a flight departing to Madrid. One of the passengers said, "It's not like getting the wrong bus. We literally ended up in a different country." Anyway, let's find out where this flight's leaving from, and hopefully we do not get stranded in a stairwell or the airport bus forgets about us. And we made it to Dublin Airport, and we leave again in around 6 hours. Now I'm going to mess around for about 2 hours here at Dublin, then go through security, but first I'm going to have to check in. I'm going to leave that to the very, very end. Now a friend gave me a good idea. When I tell my friend what I'm up to, she never blinks an eyelid. She thinks, yeah, you do stupid things to this channel. And when I told her I was doing a day trip to Dublin just to test this Ryanair roulette theory of mine, she thought, yeah, okay, fair enough, but do you have to leave the airport at Dublin? And I said, yes, you do, because there's no such thing as a connecting flight on Ryanair, unlike legacy airlines like BA and Aer Lingus, for example. And then I thought, actually, do you have to? Because if you're already airside, you've already cleared security, could you not just go out through it as a transfer passenger, check in while you're at one of the restaurants, and then leave? Well, in theory, it was going according to plan. Green signs saying transfer passengers, then all of a sudden they stopped. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to go back against the crowd here. I'm going to have to give this up as a lost cause. But I did try. I'm sure there must be a way of doing it, because I do know there is a way to do it at Glasgow Airport. So there must be a way of doing it here at Dublin as well. Anyway, 2 hours here. I'm going to mess around. I'm going to use the free Wi-Fi. Hopefully check in using the Ryanair app, which I've never used before. I have a love-hate relationship with technology. I love technology and it hates me. Wish me luck.
That took 40 minutes to get through security, which is about right for Dublin Airport. Last night I received an email from Ryanair saying, make sure you check in with at least 2.5 hours notice. They weren't kidding. Right, where can we get some food? Imagine my disappointment when I discovered that Butler's chocolate shop is closed and no one here at Dublin Airport actually sells 5 Lamps lager. And I still have 3 hours to kill before my flight. What shall I do? So we're back in Glasgow. Outbound flight worked perfectly. Inbound flight worked perfectly, but by accident. The flight was around about 70% capacity. There were quite a few middle seats still to be allocated or to be filled, so it wouldn't have mattered what time I checked in, I was still destined to get a middle seat. However, I got an aisle and a window next to me empty. And that's the second time in 3 Ryanair flights that's happened. I wonder if I'm onto something. Have you ever tried to use this system to avoid paying for a window or an aisle seat? If you have, please leave a note below. Thanks very much for coming along on this little experiment to Dublin, and I'll see you next time.